Hello and thanks for joining me today. We are going to do a little practical exercise together, and by doing this exercise I'll show you briefly how to create designs for power apps, and what things should be considered, what you should use as useful tools, and maybe I'll provide some tips. And in the end, we will see, the actual working app that could be useful for some companies. At least from what I saw, a lot of companies are using something similar that can be easily achieved using low-code solutions and Power Apps in our case. So let's look at the basic scenario. Let's say we have a company that wants to have a solution developed, and this solution would be an Office 365 Power App where our employees can apply for leaves, different types of leaves, right? Like emergency leave or, time off, things like that. So let's assume for now that we have 3 leave categories to start with. There will be a paid leave, a sick leave, and unpaid leave. If employees are taking a single day leave, then there should be an option to apply for only half a day. So let's say a morning off or an afternoon off, or both, the whole day option as well. The leave request needs to be sent to the project manager for approval. And the application admin, so this Power App admin, should be able to set public holidays for the year. And vacation requests and vacation approvals should trigger email notifications to the user and his or her manager. So that seems to be not a really complex scenario. And by using this scenario, we'll see what can be built and how we can do it. So we will start, the first thing is just to analyze, to see that I get an understanding what exactly has to be done. And of course, in real life, you would go to the specific stakeholders to get some clarification if things are not clear. So let's say you would go to a business department, to HR department, and as a consultant, you would collaborate with HR department to retrieve all the necessary information. Right? And first we would start with a design stage, and for design stage I definitely recommend a tool which is free. And if you go to this URL right here, it's app.diagrams.net. Previously it was called draw.io, and this is where you can build diagrams. So we'll start with a process diagram just to make sure that we are clear about the entire process. Process diagram, could be like a business analysis stage, the initial stage at which we analyze the existing process, and based on this process we will make the further design. So now let's go to the diagram portal and proceed with the next steps. So let's see, I got here to this app.diagrams.net. I connected this to my Gmail account, and so I started to create a diagram, right? There are options to create diagrams from specific templates, right? If you're working with a cloud, you can use, some Azure or GCP or AWS preset diagrams. If you want to do some flow charts, you can easily do so. Network has some options here, right? I started with a basic diagram which is called flow chart, and basically I already created it and filled it a little bit. So let's look at the process in general, right? If you are familiar with UML notation, each process has a start and the end of the process, right? And normally they are done with circles, so it's easier just to follow the process through, right? And then each process has actions, like there is an action to this one where user requests a holiday, right? Then the next step, a user would select a leave type, and depending on the leave type, we can add some additional actions, but I'm not going to do it right yet. For us, it's important just to know that there are different leave types, like a sick leave, a paid leave, or unpaid leave. Let's say we have only 3 of those for now. And maybe with a sick leave, we do not need to have a manager's approval, right? Because it's a sick leave, so the employee just leaves and the sick leave gets automatically approved. But if, let's say, we get a paid leave, then we would request the manager's approval. And if the manager says yes, then the leave status is changed to approved. And if the manager says no, then the leave status is changed to rejected. And what happens next? Let's say we just receive an email that is sent to the user to saying that your leave is rejected. And in this case, a user receives an email which is sent to him or her, and it says that your leave is approved, right? And then the process ends. Maybe we can add here, like, some kind of a table or place where to store this status, actually, right? Yeah, maybe depending on the type of leave, it could be different action or different process, but you get an idea, right? This is a simple process. Let's say this would be the version 1, and of course later it could be improved, but for our POC, which stands for proof of concept, we just keep it as simple as possible. So this would be an example of a process chart, right, that has this vacation request process with some actions in it. It's not a really complex one, but you get an idea. And that's normally what a business analyst would do, right? So that at this stage, this is just a analysis stage, the initial design. You would get with the stakeholders and try to analyze this process to get it clearly on paper so everyone is on the same page, and then you can proceed to the next steps to design a specific POC. So stay tuned and let's go to the next page.